Ladies and gentlemen, I stand corrected. I am Paul, and I pronounce Dutch words and names the way a Dutchman would pronounce them. Yes, I owe you a little bit of an apology, I think, because a couple of days ago I asked you the question, name me one Dutch pop group, only one that you can think of, that has been just as successful as the Swedish group ABBA. Because if you ask 9 out of 10 people on the street, random encounters, to name you one Swedish pop group, I bet they will say ABBA. And then you ask a little bit deeper, you dig a little bit deeper, and you say, name me one song that ABBA has written that you can remember. And I bet that 9 out of 10 people can name you one song, whether it's Waterloo, ba 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 ba, Money, 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 Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia. The list is endless. They consistently produced hit song after hit song that made it to the top of the charts worldwide. And I think they're just as popular today as they were when they first started. Name me one Dutch pop group that has done the same thing, has enjoyed the same level of success. I bet you can't name one. Now, prove me wrong. I mean, I don't claim to be the oracle of truth. Prove me wrong. But then I made a little oops, because I said, if there's one song, one Dutch song that has become a worldwide success, I think it is like Una Paloma Blanca, that little white dove, by the George Baker Selection. I bet that if you play that song to lots of people, maybe a majority of people, they might know that song because they heard it in an elevator in some shape, way, or form at some point in their life. And they say, I know that song, but I bet you they can't tell you it's a Dutch song. First of all, Una Paloma Blanca doesn't sound Dutch. Not that ABBA ever sang a song in Swedish either. But it doesn't sound Dutch, and then you ask, well, what group sang that? Well, you said, that's the George Baker Selection. Doesn't sound like a Dutch name either, does it? So even though people may know the music, may know the melody, may know the words, I bet they don't say, like they say with ABBA, oh, ABBA, that's Swedish. George Baker Selection, Dutch? No idea. So, but the mistake I made was that I called George Baker a one-hit wonder because of that song, and that's not true, because he has had quite a few successful songs in his career, but they're just not very well known. And people got back to me in the comments and said, have you ever watched a Quentin Tarantino movie named Reservoir Dogs? I'm not a big Tarantino fan, but I asked one of my friends who is a die-hard Tarantino aficionado, very knowledgeable, and I said, somebody said that there was a Dutch song in his movie Reservoir Dogs. Can he name that? And he said, I have no idea. I don't pay attention to the songs in Tarantino's movie. So, well, it's the song Little Green Bag. So that made him a two-hit wonder, probably George Baker. But, it wasn't nice of me to call George Baker a one-hit wonder, because it's a big accomplishment, at least for a Dutchman, coming from a very small country, very, very small talent pool of people there, compared to countries like the United States, where we have millions of artists. From a small group, from a small country, to make it big and have a hit song featured in a Quentin Tarantino movie, I think that is a big deal that deserves to be mentioned, and I did not do that. Now, I also went a little bit further, because you all gave me lots of suggestions of Dutch pop groups and Dutch pop songs that made it to the top of the charts, and I asked my favorite search engine, Perplexity AI, to name me 5 Dutch pop songs that sold most copies worldwide. So let's do a little countdown. We'll start with number 5 of the Dutch pop songs that sold most copies worldwide. Number 5 on that list is Radar Love by Golden Earring. Radar Love by Golden Earring. Number 4 is Het Smurfenlied, or the Smurf song by Vader Abraham. Het Smurfenlied. It's kind of a novelty song. Look it up, the Smurf song. That's number 4. Number 3 is Boom 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 by the Venga Boys. A lot of boom in there, the Venga Boys. That's number 3. Coming in at number 2 is No Limit by 2 Unlimited, a hit single from 1993. And on number 1 is Venus by a group called Shocking Blue. Venus with Shocking Blue. So there you have it, the number 5 best-selling songs worldwide made by Dutch artists. Now, I want to thank you for coming up with lots of suggestions of songs that made it big worldwide and that are of Dutch origin. And you gave me lots of material to work with for upcoming videos. So I promise that I will highlight more artists that the world doesn't even identify as Dutch. and highlight them on this channel. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for your suggestions. I really appreciate your input, and I promise to pass them on, turn them into nice videos, and tell the world about the wonders of Dutch pop music. But in the meantime, I still stand corrected. Have a great day. Tot ziens. Bye-bye.